Hello, dear ones. I want to reflect further on this Hebrew month of Elul. Elul, the letters in Hebrew, they form an acrostic, and the acrostic represents the verse in Song of Songs 6 verse 3 that says, "I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine." So the month of Elul has this theme of God's love for us. It's God alluring us into relationship with Him in the month of Elul. It's about God's love for us and our love for Him. And so I want to take a moment to just reflect on this theme. For me, I was challenged just to think, how many times does God have to tell me that He loves me until I really, really believe it? Sometimes that idea of the love of God seems kind of vague or a little bit separate from us because it doesn't feel as tangible. And yet over and over and over and over again, through His Word and through our lives and through the circumstances around us, we can see evidence of God's great love for us. We're very familiar with the verse John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that God sent His one and only Son to take our punishment and die on our behalf." It's very much a corporate concept that He loved the whole world, but it's also for every single one of us, that whoever believes in Him will receive everlasting life. For God so loved me, He sent His one and only Son, so that if I believe in Him, I will receive this gift of everlasting life. 1 John 3 verse 1 says, "See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God." That word lavish is so rich. It's just a favorite word of mine. To lavish is to give generously in extravagant quantities. This is just like love being like just spilling over for us in huge amounts, more than we could contain. That's the love that God has for us. And in Psalm 36 verse 5, it says, "Your love, Lord, reaches to the heavens, your faithfulness to the skies." God's love for us is expansive, it's wide, it's large, it's huge. And then Jeremiah 31 verse 3 says, God speaking to His people, He says, "I have loved you with an everlasting love. I've drawn you with unfailing kindness." So 1 John speaks of the quantity of God's love, that it's lavish, it's spilling over. And Psalm 36 speaks about how expansive and huge God's love is. Jeremiah speaks of the longevity of God's love. The love God has for us is overflowing, huge, and never ending. In Exodus 34 verse 6, God passes in front of Moses and kind of introduces Himself. He presents His calling card. He proclaims, the Lord, the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands." In Exodus and Deuteronomy, it says that God shows love to 1,000 generations. You can't even fully imagine all of those generations in a line, in a row, with God's love just spilling over generation after generation after generation. And Psalm 23 verse 6 says, "Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life." Psalm 136 says to give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever. And then through every subsequent verse of this psalm, through all 26 verses, every verse says, His love endures forever. His love endures forever. His love endures forever. Repeated over and over and over again. Who loves you? This is the God, our God, the God of love. No matter who we are, what we have done, or what we're wrestling with or concerned about in our lives right now, whether we're doing it well or not doing it well, this is the God who loves us. And so this week, today, I encourage you, take some time to reflect on how much God loves you. How has He shown His love to you? Mean to you that God loves you so very, very much. Pray over you the prayer that Paul prayed for the Ephesians. God's glorious riches, He may strengthen you with power through His Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your heart through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in His love, may have power together with all the Lord's people to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is this love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses all knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God.